Welcome, ladies, to your 45-minute stretch session. This is time that you carved out for yourself to take care of your body, and I couldn't be prouder of you. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to begin with a little bit of a warm-up. Little side-to-side tap with an overhead reach. Now, I understand that at least a few of you have stayed after your workout earlier this morning. That's fantastic. I love that, taking advantage of this extra class. But this warm-up is for those of you who maybe didn't have a workout before we stretched today. So if you want to put an extra layer on, if you have a heater that you can turn on, it's a good idea to stay warm. We're going to warm up here at the top, but then we probably are going to end up cooling down a bit as we hold some of these static stretches. So get that heater blasting. If your kids or your partner complains, too bad. This is your time. Good. Little side-to-side taps with an overhead reach. Very good. For 4, 3, 2, let's bring those arms across the body. Reach. Now for our stretch today, really all we're going to need is a chair and a mat or a soft surface that you can lie on. With static stretching, we're going to be holding each of our poses for a minimum of 30 seconds. This is a little bit different than some other stretches like yoga flow or dynamic stretch. Sometimes people ask me when the best time to do stretching is. For static stretching, always at the end of your workout. What we're trying to do here is essentially bring your muscles back to neutral. When you've been working out, you contract your muscles again and again. You know, that's what those reps are for. Stretching helps to stretch out those contracted muscles, bring you back to neutral position so you can move through your day unimpeded by stiffness or soreness. Good. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bring your feet just a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to go ahead and bring those hands to the shoulders. We're going to go into a miniature squat with an overhead reach. When I say miniature, I really mean small. So little hip hinge, bend the knees, weight always in the heels, drive and squeeze. As you reach those arms overhead, what we're doing here is we're really testing out our range of motion. Seeing how high we can get those arms without scrunching the shoulders up. Shoulders are dropped away from the ears. Beautiful. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Good. Go ahead and bring your hands to your chest. You're going to bring your feet out to a sumo squat position. Toes turned out. We're going to go into just little sumo squats here. Now, while we do these, let me tell you about the format of the class. We're going to start the first third of the class with a standing series. These are often more activated stretches to keep you nice and warm. Then we'll go to a seated series. I love a good seated series because it reminds us that we can stretch anywhere. And finally, we'll go to our mat series. Good. For 4, 3, 2, and hold this sumo. Now, you're going to take one hand, place it on the inside of the knee, little hinge forward with the body, bring the other hand here, and sink your torso forward. This is the first of our standing stretches. What we want to feel here is a little bit of a stretch through the inner thigh and the groin. We're really trying to drive those knees as far apart as possible. Take a deep breath in, exhale. Now, if it's available to you, if you have the flexibility, you're going to take the insides of your elbows. Those are going to come down to the inner thighs. Hinge the body forward just a little bit more. Inhale deep. And on the exhale, you're going to press those knees apart. This is optional. Some people can't get this deep. That's okay. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in And exhale, drive through the heels and come up. Don't worry, we are going to hit the inner thighs again if that was difficult for you. We're going to turn our body to one direction, noticing that both toes are pointing in the exact same direction. The back heel is up off the floor. We're going to start with a standing hip flexor stretch. Now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me do this here. We have a nice big letter A with the legs fairly wide. We want our torso stacked right on top of our hips, making sure that we're not hinging forward, nor are we falling back. Both hips are pointing in the same direction. If you were to have flashlights on your hips, they would both be pointing straight forward. I'm doing this next to a chair in case I need a little bit of support with my balance. Now, I want you to imagine as though there is a string attached to your pubic bone, and it's going to be pulling those hips straight forward. You'll notice I'm softening my front knee just a little bit here. And then I'm going to place my hands right below my lower back, right where my butt kind of starts to round out. And I'm just going to press down gently. Now you'll notice I have a little bit of a soft back knee as well. That's kind of optional. You can straighten that out if it's bothering your knee. But what we're looking for is a stretch through the front of the hip. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. See if you can soften that front leg a little bit more. Get a little bit of a deeper stretch. Good. One more time. Big breath in. And on this exhale, sink. Very good. Inhale as you bring your hands to the back of your chair or to the wall or just to your chest if you're not near your chair. Either way, we're going to step that back foot in, and we're going to go ahead and switch right on over to the other side. Good. So once again, big letter A. Both toes are pointing in the same direction, hips also pointing in the same direction. I'm going to turn around so you can see. A lot of times it's easier to see when I face the correct way. String attached to the pubic bone, gently pulling the hips forward, feeling that stretch through the front of the other hip. Optional hands placed on the curve of your butt. Nice and tall through that rib cage here. Belly button pulled in, and we're sinking those hips forward. Going for that hip flexor stretch. Beautiful. Nice deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as you sink. Good. Now what we're going for here, every time we exhale, we relax a little bit more. Inhale, exhale, sink. Good. And really, we're trying to send those hips forward. One more time. Inhale and exhale. If you have your chair, bring your hands to the back of your chair. Gently come out of the stretch and bring both feet together. Very good. Now I'm going to come back to the back of my chair here. Your feet are together, probably standing fairly close to your chair. I'd like you to take just a step or two back so that your hands are still on top of the chair, but your arms end up being nice and straight. You're going to soften up those knees and send those hips back. Good. And what I need to do here, I'm noticing I need to take a little step back further. What we're going for is a shoulder and chest stretch. Inhale deep. And exhale as you keep those knees soft, but you're going to send your chest down to the floor. Good. Breathe, ladies, and keep this stretch as I talk at you for a second. A lot of times what I see when people try to do, for example, an overhead press, there's some tightness in the shoulder. The range of motion is not quite enough, so people end up pressing this way. What we're looking for is the flexibility to bring the arm back to the ear, and that's what this stretch is going to help you do. Good. One more deep breath in. Gorgeous. Exhale. One more inhale as you come up. And step forward. You're going to step that back foot back a little bit more. This time the torso is more forward. You're leaning on the back of the chair a little bit more. Inhale and exhale as you drive that back heel down to the floor. We're going into a calf stretch. So this is much different than the hip flexor stretch. You'll notice that my torso is forward, creating essentially a straight line from my torso all the way down to that back heel. If I were to come up, it would not be quite as effective. We're trying to lengthen that back calf. Beautiful, big inhale. And exhale, see if you can sink that back calf even just a little bit more. Good, one more time, inhale. And on the exhale, you're gonna shift your weight to your front foot and allow that back heel to very gently come up and come out of the stretch. You're gonna step that front foot back to meet the back. One more time into the chest stretch. Deep breath in. Exhale, relax those chest and shoulders. One more time, inhale. And exhale as you drive through the heels. Gently come up and bring the other foot forward. Leaning forward, placing your hands on the back of the chair, or if you're against a wall, inhale deep. Exhale and sink that back heel down. You want to keep that back leg as straight as possible. Really sending your weight into the heel. Good. And if you don't quite feel this calf stretch, maybe you could try a slightly wider stance. Beautiful. But again, we're creating that straight line from the torso through that back leg. Very nice. Nice deep breaths. Again, we're trying to relax the area. Gorgeous. One more deep breath in. And exhale very gently. You're going to shift your weight onto that front leg. Let that back heel pop up gently. And you're going to step back. Final stretch with the hands on the back of the chair. Inhale. And exhale as you come down. Now, hopefully, as you've done this, I believe this is the third or fourth time we've done this particular stretch, you'll notice that you are a little bit farther down than you were before. Your chest is getting closer to the floor. Beautiful. One more deep breath in. And exhale, drive through the heels, come on up and take your hands off of the back of the chair. We're going to go into an upper body stretch. Clasping the hands behind the back. Big inhale in. And exhale as you roll those shoulders back and down and try to straighten out the arms. Now you notice that I'm keeping an open palm here. You can see this little angle. If you want this to be a deeper stretch, you can always release the stretch first, close the palms, inhale, and exhale, try to straighten out the arms. Now what this is going to do, it's going to open up those shoulders, open up the chest, inhale. And every time you inhale, you should feel your chest open. Beautiful. Good. One more deep breath in. And exhale as you very gently let the elbows release, then release the hands. Go ahead and give me a little shoulder roll, shake it out. Gorgeous. We're going to bring the shoulders out to the letter T. One palm is going to turn up to the ceiling, and that same palm is going to come across the body. The other hand is going to grab between the elbow and the wrist and essentially hug that arm in. Now you want to keep this arm fairly straight, and we should feel a stretch through the cap of the shoulder. Beautiful. A lot of times, static stretching focuses a lot on the lower body, the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings, and that's not a bad thing. All of those things connect to your hips. Your hips is connected to your lower back. So if you have any lower back pain, doing lower body stretches is crucial. But sometimes that means the upper body gets a little bit neglected. Or just one more deep breath in. And exhale, go ahead very gently, release that hand out. We're going to come out to the letter T again. This time the other hand, palm facing up, across the body, grip between the wrist and the elbow, and hug in. Good. Breathing into the cap of the shoulder. And exhale, try to just relax the area. Very, very good. Now, as we do our upper body standing stretches, a lot of times people kind of let their core go, sort of like hyperextend the lower back. We do want, you know, at least a little bit of a squeeze of the abs and the glutes. Gorgeous. One more deep breath in. And exhale very gently. Let that arm go. Give me 2 luxurious shoulder rolls back, followed by 2 luxurious shoulder rolls forward. And then we're going to go ahead and take a seat in our chairs. Now, I'm going to move my chair so that you can pretty much see what I'm doing here. My phone has the timer on it, so I'm not texting about you guys, I promise. Just keeping track of the time. Now, the first thing I'd like to do is breathe, essentially. I want you to place one hand just above your belly button and the other hand just below, so your hands are stacked on your torso. You're sitting all the way back in your chair, but you're not leaning against your chair back. You're sitting up nice and tall. Feet are directly underneath the knees and flat on the floor. And here you can close your eyes. And just breathe normally for the moment. And I'd like you to pay attention to what part of your body moves with the breath. Do your shoulders rise up and down? Is your chest rising and falling? Now, if the movement is mostly in your chest, your goal is to fill your belly with air so that at least your top hand, the one above your belly button, is rising and falling. If your breath is already moving your top hand, your goal is to breathe even deeper so that your bottom hand rises and falls with the breath. The breaths will be lower and slower and deeper and longer. Now, as we move into the larger leg muscle groups, this deep breathing is going to be crucial for gaining any range of motion. When you inhale, I want you to send air directly to the muscle that feels tight, as if that muscle is a lung. And then when you exhale, you're just going to try to release that tension and see if you go deeper into your range of motion. If you don't, that's okay. We're not forcing anything. We're finding our new ranges of motion. Let's take 2 more deep breaths into that upper or lower hand, or both. Good, last one, inhale deep. And exhale as you let your eyes drift open. And we're going to move our booties to the very front of the chair. Excellent. We're going to begin with a figure 4 stretch. Now, a lot of times, basically you want to make sure that your hips are fully supported, but that you have a lot of play right here. So basically you should be just on your chair and feeling secure. Let's go ahead and start with the right leg. Hooking in a figure 4, meaning that the ankle is right on top of the knee. A lot of times I'll see people open the knee up in order to get that figure 4 going. That's okay, as long as you bring it back to alignment. You want the knee aligned with the hip. Your left hand is going to be placed on the ankle. Right hand is going to sweep up to the inside of the knee. Inhale deep. And exhale as you very gently hinge your chest forward. Now you notice I'm not activating the shoulder. I'm not pushing that knee down. I'm just resting the weight of my hand on top of the knee. And as I lean and hinge, you should feel a little bit of weight transition into that hand. And really where you should be feeling this is right on the outside of the hip, right here. Beautiful, nice deep breaths in and out. Very good. Inhale, and if you're ready, as you exhale, you're going to bring that right elbow to the knee and hinge your chest forward. Now what this is going to do, just gives you a little bit more leverage. You should feel that hip open up a little bit more. That knee, essentially we're trying to get it to drop toward the floor. Big breath in and exhale. Good, and very gently, really what you're trying to do is give me that chest hinge. You're not trying to get your nose to your groin. We're avoiding any curvature of the spine. Your eyes should be forward, chest should be open. And if this hinge bothers your lower back, you don't have to hinge forward. If you want to, you can stay a little higher and just activate the shoulder just a little bit more. Stretches is going to look different for everybody. Send air to the hip and exhale, relax. Very good. Now hopefully that knee is lower than when you started. You're going to take another deep breath in and exhale as you very gently bring yourself all the way up to a seated position, giving your lower back a little bit of a reprieve. You're going to take that right hand, you're going to lace it through the figure four and come around to the shin, just underneath the knee. The other hand is going to reach all the way around and they're going to clasp together. You have a little bit of a grip on your shin right now. Inhale deep and exhale, chest comes forward. Very good. Now you'll notice the knee may start to pop up a little bit. That's okay. We're no longer sending the knee down. Instead, we're sending the torso a little bit farther forward so that we can go into a glute stretch. It's going to hit the same hip area, but it's also going to hit a little bit more of that meaty part of the booty. Very good. And the hands on the shin just gives us a little bit of support so that we don't end up just flopping our body weight forward, which wouldn't be like that great. That was sarcasm. It wouldn't be great at all. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, see if you can edge those hands just a little bit lower and then grip again. Very good. Notice how incremental all of these movements are. Oh, mama, my glutes. Very good. Let's do one more deep breath. Inhale and exhale. You can press on your shin, walk your hands up if you need to. Very, very good. All the way up to seated. You're going to take that ankle off of that knee and extend that leg straight forward. Now, you won't be able to see my foot completely as I rest it down, but my knee is flat. My heel is going to rest on the floor with my toe pointing straight up. I'm going to place both hands on the solid bent knee here as a support as I hinge forward. We should feel the bottom of that leg. We're going into a seated hamstring stretch. Now, if you're feeling flexible and feisty, you're going to take your right hand, you're going to reach forward and grab that right toe and pull it back. If you can't reach, please don't force it. A lot of times people all concerned about whether or not they can grab their toe and they end up bending their knee like this. Now this kind of defeats the purpose. We're trying to get a full length extension here. The flexed foot stretches out the calf completely. The flat knee stretches out the hamstring completely. Very good. Now, if you want to, you can always take that down to an elbow. That's going to give you a little bit more support. And breathe. Breathe into the area like it's a long exhale and relax. Oh, did you see that? I got like an inch. That was great, but I didn't force it. I found it. Very good. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, take your hand off your toe if that's where it is. Hands on the knees, support yourself all the way up to seated. We're going to repeat that whole sequence on the other side. So go ahead and bring that right foot back to the floor. It's time to transition into the left. Figure four. ankle on top of the knee, making sure that that supporting knee is aligned with the hip here, so it's not falling in nor is it flaring out. Your right hand is going to be on the inside of that left ankle, left hand on the inside of the left knee, and inhale, exhale, chest forward. Beautiful. Inhale deep, sending air directly to the area. Exhale, relax. Very good. And if you're ready, we can transition into the elbow being on the inside of the knee. Inhale and fold. This is always so tight in my hips. This always feels so good. Now, if you ever feel pain from stretching, stretching should be like slightly uncomfortable, but it should never be painful, no sharp pain. If you feel sharp pain, you need to back off. If you're so uncomfortable, the stretch is so intense that you can't breathe and relax, you need to back off. You'll get there. Again, this is a slow and incremental process. Good, I hope you were breathing the whole time I was talking. My knee is certainly lower now than when it started. You're gonna inhale deep and exhale as you come all the way up to a seated position. You're gonna take that left hand, lace it through that figure four, and then find the shin, ooh, right under the knee. Other hand is gonna come around into our glute stretch. Grasp onto that shin. Inhale. And exhale, maybe you can walk those hands down just an inch or so. Going into the glutes. That knee may pop up just a little bit, that's okay. Glorious. Now we sit a lot during pandemic. That time could be spent stretching. You're on your couch, opening gifts. You could be stretching and opening gifts at the same time. Very good. Deep breath in. And exhale, very gently walk yourself all the way up to seated. Give your lower back that little bit of a reprieve. Go ahead and unhook that left ankle and straighten it out. Foot is flexed, toe points straight up to the sky, knee is flat. I'm gonna drop that to the floor, both hands on the right thigh, the supporting one, as you hinge forward, going into that seated hamstring stretch. Beautiful. Keep that breath going. If you like, you can place your elbow on that thigh. If you're ready, you can reach for that toe. Ooh. Something to keep in mind if you ever go, where you go, or sing like I just did, or make any number of odd, bizarre noises while you're stretching, that's usually an indication that you're beginning to tense. And then instead of doing that, or directly after doing that, you just take a deep breath. So every time you guys hear me sing a high note, while I'm stretching, just remind me to breathe. Good. Oh, yes. See that? I just dropped. This was so awesome. Beautiful. Again, we want to make sure that we're not hunched over here, that we have an open chest and a flat, fairly flat lower back. We are hinging, not curling. Good. One more deep breath in. And exhale, you're going to come all the way up to seated. Bring that foot back to the floor, and we're going to hit those inner thighs one more time. You remember the sumo squat stretch we did a moment ago. This is the seated version. You want to get those feet and those knees as wide open as possible. You bring your hands to the inside of your knees as you hinge forward one more time. For me in particular, I don't get that much leverage from my hands. So if you're flexible enough, you're going to hinge forward just a little bit more so that the elbows can come to the insides of the knees. Inhale deep, and you're going to activate your shoulders just a little bit. And you're basically just trying to gently, of course, pry your knees apart. And again, flat lower back, chest is open. You're resting, kind of relaxing on those elbows, but you're not slouching. Form is important even when we're trying to relax. Very good. 2 more deep breaths here. See if you can open up those knees just the tiniest bit more. Very good. 1 more time. Inhale deep. And exhale very slowly, very gently. You're going to come out of the stretch. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the knees together. Sit up nice and tall. And we're going to move into our mat series. So, hopefully, you have a light chair, or you're smart enough to do a section where you don't have to move your chair. And we're going to begin on our hands and knees on the mat. We're going to begin with little cat and cow series. We've just done a lot of forward folding and forward hinging. So you're going to inhale deep. As you arch your back, tailbone up to the sky, chest is open. And exhale, pull your belly button up through the spine, and you're arching your back like a scared Halloween cat, tucking your tailbone. Good. Inhale deep. And exhale round. Beautiful. Inhale deep. And exhale around. You'll notice I'm flowing from one position to another. I'm not spending too long. This is mostly because I'm lining the movement up with my breath, meaning that you can do the same thing. You can go at your own pace here. We're going to do 1 more. Very good. And then find a nice neutral flat back. You're going to walk your hands all the way up to a high kneeling position. So the first thing I want you to do, we're going to go back into a hip flexor stretch. Now, for those of you whose knees are maybe a little bit sensitive and you don't care for this one all that much, go ahead and give me some cat and cow. Continue cat and cow, or you can go into a child's pose for this section. We're not going to spend too long here. The first thing I want people to do in this high kneeling position is squeeze your booty. And I want you to kind of shove your pelvis forward. We're getting that string attached to that pubic bone early, and you should already start to feel very slightly a little stretch through the front of the hips, right here and here. These are the hip flexors right here. Very good. Now, you have that sort of access of the glute squeezing. Let's go ahead and begin with the left leg. You're going to bring the left knee to 90-degree table proposal position. Torso nice and tall, belly button in. We're not folding forward, we're not leaning back. And what I want you to do is take that right glute, and you're going to kind of do the same action. You're going to go, heh. You're going to squeeze that glute and press that pelvis forward. It's the same concept, right? The string being pulled here. But a lot of people forget that this glute is actually activating just a little bit, and you should feel, oh man, plenty of stretching through the front of this hip right here. Now this is level 1. Level 2, I'm going to show you pretty quickly. Come out of the stretch first. I'm going to bring that front foot forward even more. Sit up nice and tall and sink. So we're getting a lot of extension. This is essentially like a runner's lunge if the back knee was on the floor. Good, nice deep breaths. Level 3, you can bring your hands to the floor if you like. We're not going to spend too long here because we've already hit this area, but I do like demonstrating both hip flexor stretches. And honestly, the more time spent stretching out the hip flexors during the pandemic, the better. Good. Deep breath in and exhale. You can place your hands on the floor no matter where you are. Walk yourself gently out of the stretch and bring yourself back to your hands and knees. Big deep breath in. Cat and cow, just one round. Exhale as you round that back, and we're going to go into child's pose. Oh, now child's pose is a relaxation pose, but it can also be a more active stretch. I want you to take your tailbone, you're going to shoot it behind you nice and far. For people who have knee injuries, you may have to kind of stay up here, but that's okay. For those of you whose knees are healthy, you're going to get that tailbone as far back as you can. You're going to drop your chest low onto your thighs, and you're going to walk your hands forward. You should remind yourself of like a cat stretching out their front paws, and you should feel a nice stretch through the shoulder and the chest. If you have a shoulder injury and this doesn't feel that good, you can absolutely go into a more relaxation child's pose with the arms at your sides. It's always an option to you. Good, deep breath in. Exhale, come on up to your hands and knees. Walk your hands back into the high kneeling position. Stacking your torso, belly button in, you're gonna squeeze your glutes. Get that access first. Feel that tiny little stretch here. And this time you're gonna bring your right knee forward. Now, of course, it's a little bit better if you can see me, so I'm just gonna turn around. Not awkward at all. Nice and tall, right on top of those hips. And once again, this time it's gonna be left glute is gonna squeeze. Just like you did a moment ago, you should already feel a fairly significant stretch through the front of this hip flexor. Now, for a lot of people, this is gonna be plenty. I honestly feel this stretch a lot already. It's a slightly different kind of stretch than levels 2 and 3. For a lot of people who have sensitive knees, this one might be okay. Level 2, which I'm gonna demonstrate right now, you can bring that front foot forward and sink those hips. That angle on that back knee is sometimes not that great for some people. Just depends. So that's level 2 and level 3. If you're ready, you can bring your hands to the floor. Now, as I've mentioned before, some people like to come down to their elbows. I am not there yet. You can kind of see, I can kind of bend my elbows. No, I'm not gonna try. Good. Big breath in. And exhale, you're gonna place your hands down no matter where you are. Walk yourself back, and we're gonna come back to our hands and knees. Big breath in. As you arch the back, exhale, round. So our final cat and cow here. Find your neutral spine, hips back, child's pose. Your choice, relaxation, or walk those hands forward. Stretch out the chest and arms. Feels good. Beautiful, gigantic breath in. And exhale, you're gonna come back up to your hands and knees, and very mindfully, we're gonna turn over onto our backs. Oh, let's go ahead and pull both knees into the chest. You're gonna rock yourself back and forth, just an inch or so at a time. We're gonna go into a lying IT band stretch. So, for this one, your feet are gonna be on the floor, but a little bit farther out than a lot of us are used to. The bend in the knee should be quite soft. I'm gonna start on my left leg. I think this one has the most visibility. You're gonna take that ankle, just the ankle, right over the top. It's kind of like a figure 4, but not exactly, because the supporting leg is such a soft bend. It's gonna look a lot different than this. You're gonna inhale deep and exhale as you drop that right knee, the supporting knee, out to the side. And you should start to feel a stretch along the outside of the hip. As you begin to drop that knee over more and more, that left hip is going to elevate so that you're ending up in a little bit of a lying spinal twist. Again, you should feel this right at that connection point, right up here. Now you can always play with this. For some people, they're gonna wanna bring that knee a little bit farther down. For some others, they wanna send that knee a little farther out. Some people can't tolerate a big twist here, and that's okay. Very nice. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale very slowly, please. You're going to bring your hips back to neutral. Now you notice I'm supporting my leg up a little bit here. It's a good idea to do that. We're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. The first thing you're going to do is unhook that ankle and match the angle of the soft knee, because we want the same angle on both sides. Then that right ankle hooks over the top of that softly bent left knee, and that knee is going to drop over to the other side. And now you can kind of see what my hips are doing. My hips, one is staying down, the other is picking up off the mat, and now I'm in a lying spinal twist. And where I feel this is right up here, in that kind of outer joint. It changes a little bit. If I open up that knee, it's going to come down here a touch more. Always play, always experiment. I love this one. I forget who taught this one to me. I think it was someone at Fit Club like only a year ago or something, and I've been stealing it shamelessly ever since. And clearly not giving credit because I don't remember who it was. I don't know, Francie. Deep breath in and exhale once again, slowly. Core is tight for that. You want to bring your hips back to neutral. Go ahead and unhook that leg. One knee into your chest, rock. The other knee into your chest, rock. And ladies, we're just gonna spend a couple of minutes here. So you can find a lying, comfortable position. That could be with your legs extended, like so. It can be with your knees bent. For me, I like to bring my feet a little farther apart and then let the knees fall in and rest against each other. Arms can be at your sides or resting on your torso. Now I'm gonna sit up for this next part, but I'd like everyone to remain lying down. You're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. Allow your eyes to come closed. Deep breath in. And on this exhale, you're going to let go of the day behind you. Anything that happened before you showed up for class today. Deep breath in. And exhale, and you let go of anything ahead of you, any plans, anything you anticipate after class. Continue to breathe and allow yourself to rest in this present moment. Paying attention to the physicality of your breath. Again, where is your breath residing in the body? Shoulders, chest, or stomach? You don't have to change anything, just notice. Bring your attention to the sounds that you hear. My voice, any atmospheric sounds in your home. And try to regard each sound with neutrality. There are no good sounds or bad sounds. In these final moments, remind yourself that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing. Take one more very deep breath in. And on this exhale, allow your eyes to drift open into a soft and easy gaze. And ladies, that is our stretch class. Yay, beautiful work.